Okay, good evening, everybody. We just took a minute to let some of the community members in the webinar that we have this evening. Just to let everybody know the goals for this evening. It's one of a series of updates that we have as we move obviously towards the summer and then the start of the school year. We're going to give a little bit of an update on the progress of the building. We're going to introduce some of our team members today, and then we're going to talk about some upcoming events as we move from our procurement and hiring phase into starting to work with students to hear from our student body about what they would like to see in their school in terms of materials and equipment, and more importantly, the environment in which they want to learn every day. So we're going to send out a student survey in the coming days, asking students for input in topics that they want to discuss with team members such as myself, SCA sponsors, Student Council Association sponsors, our school counseling department, to start the planning process so that we can do our best work in welcoming our students and creating the right environment for them. So that survey is going to go out to our students in the near future. And then we're going to have a series of weekly student focus groups where we'll invite any of our students who wish to be present to participate in a webinar, so that we can give our students a voice over the summer weeks that'll guide some of the decisions and the work that we do as we move towards school opening in August. So we'll share a little bit more about that. Drew Barton, one of our assistant principals, will talk about the meet and greets that we have scheduled, 3 of them in the near future. Starting with tomorrow evening as well. So if we move on to the next slide, I'll start with the update as far as the building's concerned. So we're in the building yesterday, and it's changing rapidly. There's still a lot of work to do, but the construction team is rapidly moving forwards with various parts of the building. So you can see the gym floor is installed. It's not finished yet. It still needs sanded, painted, and sealed, but the bleachers are being installed as we speak in the school gym. You can see the first floor tiles being installed in our hallways. Many of the classrooms are finished. We've got smart boards in about 35 of our classrooms, so about a third of the way through, but it's coming together nicely. In the next slide, you can see one of our conference rooms. So there's now carpet in areas of the building. You can see again one of our hallways. I think that's the math department hallway on the second floor. And then on the right hand side, that's our cafeteria. So some of the lighting's installed and some of the wood paneling in the ceiling and some of the embellishments are being installed around the exterior of the cafeteria, as you can see. So that's starting to come together. And then we're into the auditorium. So the seating in the lecture space at the back of the auditorium is being installed on one side. The floor of the auditorium has been prepared, so that's about ready to have the main seating installed in the auditorium, and obviously the soundproofing and the wood paneling, the decorative paneling is installed. So it's close to being completed. Still a lot of work, but it's getting pretty close at this point. So that's where we are with the building. We'll give you another update later in the summer. We're going to start receiving furniture for parts of the building right around June 7th, and we'll probably send some pictures out as we start to furnish the building. But at this point in time, I'm going to pass over to the team, and I'm going to introduce you again to Andrew Barton, who's one of our assistant principals, and he'll take you through the next slide.
Good evening. So real quick, excited about obviously all the changes to the building, as well as the staff that we have coming on board. And again, you'll get an opportunity to meet some of our staff tonight, some of our instructional staff. One of the big hires that we've recently made is our chorus teacher, our choral director. Her name is Christina Shepard. She's coming to us from Kettle Run High School, where she served as department chair over there. So again, excited. That's a big hire for anyone who's aware of how big a choral department can be and what a big undertaking that can be. So we're excited to have Christina on board. The return to learn survey, again, that should have gone out. Parents should have received indication that they can go ahead and fill that out in parent view. There's some brief explanation in terms of how you would get there. Can't kind of encourage you enough to go ahead and fill that out. That allows us to really plan for classes and sections in the building, and again allows you as parents to have your preference known, and allows us to plan for it as we move forward. So we have a couple more days. Ultimately, it will close on Friday, and then we'll really start crunching numbers and seeing what kind of impact that has on the schedule as a whole. So please, if you haven't already, take an opportunity to fill that out and just allow us to make the best choices in terms of courses and things like that as we get into the summer and get into the next school year in August. The next part of the presentation is really, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Nimro, our ITC, and he's going to walk you through some of the updates and features of the website. And Mr. Nimro, take it away.
Awesome, thank you. Let me get this ready here for you real quick. So what we wanted to do tonight is to just kind of show everybody the website. The website is obviously a work in progress because we're getting to start from scratch on most of it. So it may look, it looks like most of the Prince William County Schools websites. We're trying to make it as navigable and easy to work with as possible. Right now, because everything is so new, there's not a lot on it. So hopefully finding some information for everybody is easy. I will stress a couple things. Anytime we can, we're going to post stuff to the news section. This stuff will also appear on our Twitter feed and on our Facebook page. But if you are looking for information, the news section is a great place to start. These buttons down here are all actually live buttons also. So if we find that there are things like our YouTube channel, so all of our webinars that we do, we also post to YouTube. So if you missed something and you're not sure where it's posted, that's an easy place to start. But these buttons all down here are all live also. We'll also be adding things to our school calendar. You can see some things coming up. We have a football info webinar on June 3rd, a dance webinar on June 7th. So there are things coming up in the calendar that you'll see there as well. I wanted to show everybody a couple other places that we're adding to. Obviously, the About Us you can go to for some general information. There's all sorts of information here at the Office of the Registrar, school counseling, and student activities, which I'll talk more about in a second. And then obviously calendar news, the specialty program details are here. And then as we add staff members, they're all being put here also. So if you're curious as to who the science teachers are, or who's in the fine and performing arts department, you can check there. I'll go ahead and actually show everybody. I'm jumping out of order a little bit here from the presentation, but so that I can just be done. The student activities and athletics page is here. It's going to move soon, and I'll show you that web address in just a second on the presentation from tonight. But we've outlined some things. These tabs up here walk you through just the sports that we're offering, the clubs and organizations that we hope to offer, some performing arts details, and then any previous webinars we've done that are activities related are actually posted here. Down below, this is a big one for athletes coming up for our schools next school year. That physical form needs to be filled out. There's information about our facilities. And then if you're looking for performing arts staff, and then any coaches that have been hired so far, these are all head coaches. So you can see we are almost done there hiring all of our coaches. So they're all listed there as well. I'll go ahead and stop sharing. And I believe Ms. Pomfret, if you can take us back to the presentation. Thank you so much. So a couple things, like I said, the athletics and activities site is going to eventually move to this web address right here. It'll be GainesvilleCardinals.com. If you don't remember that, you'll be able to find that. We'll have it linked on our regular webpage. For right now, until that website is ready, the school website will have all the current information. This is a big link down here. This is going to be really important for all of our students, whether they're participating in football or drama or debate. anything, we're going to try really hard to support student activities, athletics and activities through the Booster Club at Gainesville. So if you're interested in joining, finding out information, being a part of that, we would love to have you, but we need your information. So it's boosterclub.gainesvillecardinals.com. That web address will take you to a Google form where you can get some information to us so that we can add you to our distribution list when we start putting out information about that. Some big important dates that are coming up. One, summer paperwork submission and concussion education. Those are physicals, all that kind of stuff to be able to play fall sports. We're going to have a week set aside. More information on this will come out as far as time and location. Some of that stuff is unknown just because we need to make sure we have access to the building or set up a different place to get information. But we're hoping to have information out about that. But the summer paperwork and submission, all of that is going to happen from July 19th to July 27th, that we'll start taking that for fall sports. And then here are the big ones. And this is as a coach at Gainesville, I love talking about this, the start dates for programs. It's crazy to think, but we are 2 short months away basically from fall sports starting. The start date this year, it's the earliest I've ever seen it, and I've been coaching in the county for about 20 years, which just means I'm old. July 29th is the start date for fall, November 8th for winter sports, and then spring sports will start on February 21st. So it's an update from the athletics department and student activities. That's all I got.
Hi, I'm Jen McDonald. I'm here to introduce the World Languages Department to you. I'm going to be the department chair, and I also am teaching Spanish at Patriot, and I'm coming over to Gainesville in the fall, and I'm very excited. We'll have Carla Shaw joining us for Spanish, Erica Martin, Danielle Downey, who will also be teaching some of the fluent speakers classes, Colette Rafferty, Dan Bain, who will be teaching French and Spanish, Miriam Lalou, who will be teaching French, and then Danita Relaford, who we're really excited to be teaching ASL with us. Okay, there we go. So the biggest thing with the World Language Department is we are dedicated to developing lifelong language learners. We want our students to come out of the foreign language program being able to communicate in the target language. We really want to make sure that it is engaging in a rigorous curriculum. It stresses the importance of cross-content connections, an intercultural worldview, and obviously cultural awareness and sensitivity, which is just so important these days. All languages will be taught with our new standards that just rolled out. They rolled out about last month, the new SOL Virginia standards. These are going to look a little bit different. We're still going to focus on the culture, connections, comparisons, and community, but we're going to have kind of an overarching umbrella of communication. The main goal we want to make sure is that students are communicating with the target language. They're reading, writing, listening, speaking, using all the modes, and obviously an extra emphasis on literacy and interculturality. Our mission is obviously to develop a love for languages and cultures, and our students to demonstrate the relevancy of learning another language in our interconnected global society. So I'm so excited to be on board, and I know several of my team members are here, and they're also just really looking forward to the fall and opening Gainesville. So thank you so much.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Sarah Gill. I am going to be the department chair at Gainesville High School for Science, currently over at Osborne Park. There I have a list of our fabulous team that we have hired and our course offerings for this year. We'll have biology, ecology, chemistry, earth science, environmental science, and physics. We'll be starting off with AP Physics 1 and AP Environmental Science, and then the first course of Project Lead the Way, Principles of Biomedical Science, with the goal of moving forward to having even more advanced placement course science work. One of the things that I'm most excited about are the things that we've got to purchase for the new school this year. We've been focusing a lot on technology and making sure that students are not just learning science, but they are doing science in the classroom. We will be working with Vernier and EdvoTech across all of the disciplines, including Project Lead the Way. Some highlights. Biology students will be exploring PCR, DNA amplification, and DNA electrophoresis using our EdvoTech equipment. Chemistry students are going to go on a study of chromatography, everything from paper and thin layer chromatography up to the latest of using gas chromatography, and we'll be able to use both the Vernier and the EdvoTech for that. The Project Lead the Way students are going to start by studying the basics of forensic science from toxicology, blood analysis, etc., using the Vernier and EdvoTech. We're also trying to stretch into some co-curricular activities. We will have a greenhouse, not only for our biology students to make use of, but also for our art students to come up and sketch. And we're starting to work with our culinary sciences to see what kinds of foods that we can grow in our greenhouse for student use in that program. There's lots of great things planned for next year, and I'm excited to see you guys on the first day of school.
Good evening. My name is Brianna Epps. I am one of the school counselors, or will be one of the school counselors at Gainesville. On the screen are some of our amazing counselors that will be joining everyone at the new school. So we are set to start with 5 counselors. Our counseling secretary, our registrar, and Ms. Pomfret, our director of school counseling. And the next slide. So as a counseling team, we recognize that we are returning from a very non-traditional year, and there are strengths that we built along the way, and there's also challenges we still face as we move into the next school year. As a counseling team, we are here to support our students, and we want to make sure that our presence is known in the building as a support for our students and community. We are excited to share our counseling curriculum with our students. Content includes topics such as learning strategies, self-management skills, and social skills. And then we look forward to getting to know our students and supporting them throughout the years with us in their development of their personal strengths, their interests and achievements as they move on to young adulthood and they consider their future. Counseling services will also include counseling lessons in the classroom. Individual and small groups on various topics will be offered to students. We are working with our feeder schools to help identify struggling students, and student parent referrals will also be helpful as we move into next school year and during this school year so that we can know our students who need our support and we can help them out as well. As a way to get to know our new community and our students, we plan to send out a needs assessment to our community later in the summer to address some of the issues that we should focus on as we start the school year and the issues that we need to focus on most at the beginning of the year, or the services we need to focus on. Some things that are coming up or information that will be coming to you soon are counselor assignments. So students do not yet have a counselor assigned to them by Alpha. That information will be coming out as we move into next school year. There will be a counseling appointment system or appointment request system for non-emergency appointments. Student schedules will be released typically a week before school is set to start. There will be a counseling advisory council, and that is led by one of our school counselors, and it includes students from each grade level, our parents, teachers, and staff to really learn more about our counseling program and also address which services you'd like to see in our community as well. And then the counseling needs assessment, which was previously mentioned, will be coming out to our community soon.
Okay, some upcoming events coming soon. We have 3 meet and greets that we've publicized. The first of which is tomorrow at Gainesville Middle School. I'm going to remind our families, please don't show up unless you have registered and have a designated time slot. We're trying to adhere to the guidance that the governor has in place for our safety. We also have parking constraints that will prevent us from having more people there than we have sign-up slots. So we did add additional slots to the sign-up genius for tomorrow's meet and greet. That email invitation went out around 6 p.m. today. So we have increased our capacity, but we are going to have meet and greets additionally on the 21st and the 24th of June at Bull Run and Reagan Middle Schools. So there will be other opportunities to connect. We're setting a low bar for these meet and greets. It really is just an opportunity to say hi, get to meet some of the students that are coming to Gainesville next year, answer any questions that we have. Any critically important information, any programmatic changes, anything to do with scheduling, et cetera, we will push to our community in a variety of methods between the website, community email, webinars such as this. So if you can't make it, please don't feel as though you're going to miss important information. That's not the intent for these meet and greets. It's simply to start to build a connection and a relationship with our community. And if we can answer questions, obviously we will. Orientation. It's a big undertaking to introduce ourselves and our community to the school, and then obviously standard operating procedures, certain cultural norms we want to have in place, and then give students a chance to give feedback about what they want their school to become over time. We want to do as much of that as we can face-to-face. The challenge with that is we have a fairly fluid move-in date. So we're reluctant to schedule anything on the premises until we have some firm and concrete dates for when we actually have occupancy to the building. So more to come over the summer. In the meantime, we're building out an online web-based orientation. So really it's a storage space for the information we think our community will want or need. It will be added to over time, and it will be an opportunity for our teachers, faculty, and staff to introduce themselves through short video clips and amongst other things. So that platform is being built. I predict that in the next week, that'll go live. And again, we'll add additional information over the summer as it becomes available. The in-person, as I said, is to be determined. I talked a little bit about the student survey that's going to go out, seeking input from students about the topics they wish to discuss. That survey will ask for our students to declare interest in being a student leader in the building, if they want to be part of the Student Council Association, a student ambassador group, but in essence, part of the student body that will get a little bit of an early insight and then prepare to help all of their peers smoothly transition into the school as we start the school year. Anyway, that's the orientation. We'll have additional information, as I said, about curriculum, offerings from our departments, and then information for students new to the area, new to the school. Mr. Barton talked about the Return to Learn survey. Any parents or any students who are planning on staying all virtual next year, please make sure that you fill out that survey. If you don't fill out the survey, students will default to us preparing as if they're going to be face-to-face next school year. Right now, the vast majority of students are responding as if they are going to be in school next year face-to-face. So as long as all of the guidance and other factors stay positive through the summer, we're planning for I'll say a relatively normal start to the school year, in the sense that we anticipate a large number of our students coming back face-to-face. So if that is not the case, please make sure you fill out that survey before the end of the week. And we'll start planning with other staff across the division about what course offerings will look like for students who stay virtual. I'll predict that not every single course will be offered virtually, but as a division, that plan is being built as we move through the next couple of weeks. A reminder that the course request change deadline is June 4th. So students, parents, if you got in the mail the courses that were your child selected, that our students selected, and they're inaccurate, or there's, through conversation in the household, there's a change of direction, please make sure you let us know by June 4th. And then we have community updates, these webinars scheduled for June 23rd and July 21st, where hopefully we'll have a lot more information about gearing up for the start of the school year. Again, we'll be sending out additional surveys, asking for student input, parent input, and frankly, parent participation in booster organizations, principals advisory, those things. So stay tuned. I know it's a busy time of year. We appreciate you paying attention to the emails we're sending, as well as the emails and invitations that our feeder schools are sending out. But we're building towards August, and we'll be very busy over the summer and trying to keep you engaged when we feel it necessary or useful for you. Okay, I'm going to hand back to Mr. Barton for the last slide.
All right, thank you. So again, these were a couple questions that came up in a survey that was sent out earlier, I think closed last week. But anyways, parking and transportation. Again, in terms of transportation, the bus schedule is typically released in August, a couple weeks prior to the beginning of the school year. That's the typical bus runs. And then additionally, when the specialty bus stop programs have been finalized, that will be sent out to parents either by transportation, or we'll send out a blast as well, just making parents and students aware that where they can find that.
And Mr. Barton, if I can jump in, if
Absolutely.
you are a student who's coming for the specialty program and you have questions at all about transportation, I'll be in touch with you one-on-one in the summer regardless. And so please don't worry about transportation. I will reach out to you when we get that information. Thanks, Mr. Barton.
Perfect, thank you. In terms of the parking passes and things like that, again, we'll send out information probably the first or second week of August. The good news, the first year, there's not going to be any shortage of parking spots. So again, we'll have plenty of spaces, and the information application and all of that will be sent out and posted on the school website. Like I said, I would anticipate probably second week of August, in which we'll start that process for parking passes. National Honor Society membership will transfer from other schools. That was a question that came up. So it's not an instance of needing to reapply or anything like that. Again, that membership will transfer to Gainesville High School. The weight room for the summer, a lot of our obviously summer athletes or fall athletes, we're gonna, as soon as it's kind of up and running, we'll send updates out. Obviously coaches will have that information. Again, we're hoping to be able to receive furniture deliveries tail end of June and really into July, and then it's really about how quickly we can work to get everything put together. And ultimately, we're anticipating being able to be in the building full time in the middle of July, as of right now. But again, more information will come in the future. Special education, obviously special education, there are a lot of questions that are unique to individual cases. The contact information for John Treadwell, our special ed department chair, is on the slide. Please reach out to him. You can reach out to myself as well, Andrew Barton, if you have any specific questions, and we can help navigate and answer any questions that may arise. Ultimately, Mr. Treadwell or myself are participating in IEP meetings for students who are transitioning to Gainesville High School, whether they're coming from middle school or another high school. And we've tried to be at just about every one of those. 504s, again, if they're usually pretty specific to or unique to individual students. So case managers will be our school counselors, and obviously more information is to come. We will be having meetings over the summer, ultimately to update those documents and things like that. So if you have questions in the meantime, again, feel free to reach out to myself, Ms. Pomfret, and then we can answer questions and hopefully guide you in the right direction. So that's it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we'll be doing 2 more of these as we get into the summer, and look forward to seeing anyone who's able to come out tomorrow and has signed up for the meet and greet, and then ultimately meeting everybody as we open the school for next year. Thank you guys. Have a good night.